Good morning and welcome to another pre-market review session with the Market Trader. My name's Ray, the Market Trader. And before we get started here, guys, we'll need to review our risk disclosure. So we'll go ahead and do that. Okay, just want to remind everyone that the content that's being published and distributed by the Market Trader is to be used at your own risk. Okay. It's to be treated as general information. Okay. None of the information provided by the company or contained herein as is to be used as investment advice or offer to buy, sell, recommend, endorse, sponsor any future security, company, or fund. We all understand that the use of this information contained herein is to be used at your own risk, and the company, as partners, representatives, agents, employees, contractors assume no responsibility or liability for any use or misuse of such information. Future trading does carry a fair amount of risk. It's not for every investor. An investor could potentially lose all or more of their investment capital. Only risk capital, money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle, should be used for trading, and only those individuals with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Again, nothing contained herein is a solicitation or an offer to buy, sell futures, options, or forex, and past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right. So now that we've gotten the risk disclosure out of the way, we'll go ahead and turn our attention to the news. We'll take a look at our news portal here and see what news we have in store today that could has the potential of impacting the markets. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. All right, there it is. Just going to pause here for a minute. Good morning, Aslan. Yeah, so just want to take a look here. So a fair amount of news today. One of the bigger news days that we've had so far this week. We have ADP employment numbers coming in. Looks like they came in above expectations. We have US Treasury that I think has already reported as well. We have Trump speaking, or is currently speaking with Republican senators. At 9:45 we have the S&P services PMI, composite PMI, and ISM services PMI all coming in between 9:45 and 10 a.m. And then for those crude oil traders out there, we do have the EIA, the inventory report, which obviously has an impact on the kind of like similar to our FOMC equivalent, right? For equities. Okay. And then we close out the day with some news around the Fed credit report, New York Fed household credit report. And then Trump has a speaking engagement with the U.S. Business Forum at 1 p.m. today. Okay. So fair amount of news today that has the impact of moving the markets. We got some positive employment numbers, so maybe that should help the markets here a bit. We'll take a look here in a minute. All right. So let's go ahead and turn our attention to our charting platform here. So let's go ahead and launch that and see what context we can pull from the markets to support us in our trading today. So we'll load this up here, and then we'll get started. All right, so let's stop sharing here, start sharing this window here. Okay, so hopefully you guys see some semblance of a chart on your screens, a combination of NAS and crude oil at the moment here. Just going to pause here for a moment and see to ensure that that is indeed the case. Okay, awesome. All right, let's go ahead and click on open up the gold market here. We'll start off with the gold, and we'll expand that out here. All right, so looking at the daily chart here, you can see that we've been in some sort of range of late in this market. Okay, maybe even a tad to the downside. Okay, But we have been in range over the last 7 days, and that's probably what's caused maybe some of the challenges that we've had in trading gold of late. Okay, market has been in range. It hasn't really offered us much in the way of opportunities. Okay, in any one direction. So again, daily chart is indicating the same. Every time we get a bullish candle thinking that we're going to get higher, we met with sellers. Every time we think we're going to sell off, we're met with buyers. Classic definition of range price, right? Okay, ranging price. Okay. Let's go ahead and turn off ADR here for a moment. Okay, we'll just turn this off here for a moment. Okay, so ranging price. All right, on the daily, let's take a look at the 4-hour chart. Okay, so 4-hour chart, again, similar kind of look and feel, right? Our highs at 40.40. That's still there, right? Has not changed. And our lows are 39.40, right? That's been the range, 39.40 to 40.40. That's been the range that we've seen of late. You can see that has been taking place here for probably a good week now. Okay, we've been in that kind of range. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the 30-minute chart, and we'll kind of dive in here on our analysis here. Okay, so we'll start off with the fixed range volume profile. We'll take a look here and see. Good morning, Anthewell. Good morning, Aslan. Good morning, Faye. Let's see. We'll start off. Let's see, Tuesday, right? Tuesday. Start off here. We'll drag this across to the close. Okay, and you can see that the market as of late, okay, even though we've been in range right now, we seem to have received maybe some folks that are willing to participate in this market to the bullish side. Okay, we have price now currently above our value area, meaning that folks are willing to pay a premium to be a part of this market. Okay, you can see that price is above our value area. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and mark that area as kind of a lazy line level. Okay, this is an area that I would be willing to participate potentially in a supportive trade. We see that price is above our 9 EMA, above our VWAP. Hey, Axman. Hey, Michael. How are you? So again, indications are, at least on the shorter time frame, that maybe we are beginning in the beginnings of some sort of bullish price action in the gold. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at our initial balance, and let's review this. Across initial balance ranges here. See if I can go ahead and locate my initial balance. I always seem to do something with it each time. Got ASR, H will two of these. Don't need to. Okay, there it is. We'll open that up. And we'll start off with the Asia market here and just get a sense for what Asia was able to do with this market. And you can see that Asia was quite favorable to participate in gold, right? Got a nice little extension here to the upside, reached the 200% extension of the initial range, and then kind of ranged from there. Okay. Taking a look at London. London was actually a bit on the bearish side, right? We extended to the downside, got to the 50% extension. And again, notice how we reached a supportive level here around VWAP. Okay. We got to VWAP. And then we've extended, but certainly a little bit more in the way of range, right? So now we're back inside value, and the expectation is that maybe that we'll at least rotate all the way up to the top end of value. And I see that we have this 4,000 level above us. That could be a reasonable target. Okay, a reasonable target for this market. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that in as maybe an area of some resistance, okay, to price. All right. And that would be a kind of a reasonable target, assuming that we continue kind of this pattern. Now, again, while Asia has been bullish, right? While Asia's been bullish, London has been a bit more in range, right? So again, have to be kind of cognizant of that, right? So again, we could could easily get a continuation move here from the edge of initial balance, right, back down, right? That's certainly a possibility, right? So we have to be cognizant of that. Otherwise, if we manage to get it, obviously a new high here, and then we open up the door, if we manage to get above 39.86, that could offer us maybe an opportunity to the upside. Now, it all depends on how this current candle closes, right? If this current candle closes in its current form, then maybe that does maybe build a case maybe for lower prices. Okay, so difficult to say right now. Like I said, Asia was higher. London, not so much. London was a little bit more in the range, in the way of range. Taking a look at the U.S. market here, since the market has been open here for a bit, we'll open up the current range, right? The day's range, and we'll take a look at that. So we have a relatively narrow range. Again, I think we still have a fair amount of news coming into this market at 9:45 and 10 a.m. And it could possibly be waiting for that news to hit the market before it decides to make any significant move in any direction. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm seeing right now. I would say that right now I'm a bit neutral, maybe neutral to bullish in the gold. Right now, I see that price is kind of overlapping right now. So I needed to break out of this area, 39.90.50 on the top end, and 39, say 67 on the lower end. To really give me an indication as to which direction they want to take this market, because right now it does appear to be in some sort of range. All right, let's go ahead and move into the crude oil market, a market that maybe has kind of maybe picked up. Actually, I thought I was going to say picked up of late, but it looks like it's back to its old tricks. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and remove some of our drawings here. Again, I don't know to honestly what to make of this, right? We had some indication that maybe the market was beginning to show signs of some strength here. But now we have some overlapping candles, and we have now a series of candles that are leading us to believe that maybe there is maybe more downside to this market. Okay, maybe we will fill in this gap that has been left unfilled, and then that would maybe be the kind of area here around 58.60 where we maybe find some support here in this market. All right, so I'm just going to mark this level here. 58.60 is kind of my lazy lion level. All right. Expect price to maybe potentially to reverse away from that, because it did create some sort of gap to the upside. Okay. So the expectation is that if there was so much pent up demand in this market, that these same folks, the same folks that brought price up to this level, are probably interested again, should price come back down to that level. Okay. So right now, again, on the daily chart, I have to say that we continue to be in some sort of bearish structure here on this market. Again, we need to see if we can get price below, again, that magic number, right? I think we mentioned this before. 60 seems to be that magic number, right? Or do we get below 60, then that could drive price all the way down to 58.54. If we manage to hold 60, and it doesn't look like it can, but if we manage to hold 60 and maybe get above, say, 61, okay, maybe the top of this candle here, then maybe we can make a case that price will potentially head higher. Okay, we are in a little bit of a bearish channel. I mean, if I were just to look at these set of candles, someone would tell me that this is just maybe a flag pattern of some sort, right? A flag pattern that could offer us maybe a potential opportunity to the upside, right? Otherwise, if we break below, say 60, I would say, then I think it does open up the door here for us to maybe move lower. All right, so let's take a look at the 4-hour chart. Spent a fair amount of time on the daily, so let's go ahead and take a look at the 4-hour. So 4-hour, I'm going to turn off initial balance here. We're kind of developing a rather strong bearish engulfing candle at the moment. Okay, that can't be all that good, right? I mean, depending on how you look at it, right? For a continuation to the upside, right? We have a bearish candle, and assuming that candle closes in this current way in the next hour, then maybe that leads us that leads us to further price moves to the downside. Hey, Ali, how are you? Okay. All right. So we have a bearish engulfing. We'll know whether this candle closes in this kind of bearish engulfing way. And again, I'm going to continue to draw this little line in the sand, but this is the 60 level, right? This 60 level right now seems to be an area of support, right? Right around 60. Okay. We have not been able to make any inroads in moving away from 60. Every attempt that's been we made to get away from 60 has been met with sellers. So again, I don't know. The story is still not complete for the bulls, right? There's still a fair amount of pressure here to the downside in this market. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at the 30. We're going to go ahead and remove some of my drawings. We're going to go ahead and expand this, try to give you as much visibility as to what I'm looking at here. Kind of stretch this out here. Okay. All right. We're going to take a look at the fixed range volume profile. We're going to compare yesterday's price action with today and see where we're at. I suspect I know the answer to this question. Actually, I don't. I thought we were in range, but turns out we are below range. Okay, so indicating that there's a fair amount of interest. There's a fair amount of interest in this market to the downside. Now, again, we've been in some sort of range. 60, again, is kind of rearing its head here, right? 60, right on the button. 60 has been responsive, right? Been reactive. So if price comes back here again, well, what's the expectation? Well, the expectation is that we bounce, right? That's what we've done in the past. Why should we expect anything different, right? I mean, it can, right? But over the last, I guess, the start of the Tuesday's session, all the way till now, right? We've kind of touched on this in the overnight, right? Reversed away from it, and now we're back to this level again. So until it breaks, then I have to think that the 60 level is going to offer me another level of support. Otherwise, my view is that we continue lower. Okay, that's simple as that. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the initial balance here. Let's see what the various markets have been able to do with this market here. All right, we'll start with the Asia session. Asia, again, offered us a nice extension to the upside, right? Really nice extension to the upside. Okay. London, on the other hand, I think was not didn't get the memo. Didn't get the memo from Asia. Okay, and they said, you know what? I'm really not all that keen on the crude oil. Okay. They did make an attempt to take it higher in the beginning, right? I mean, maybe a few folks got the memo, but someone, once they got to certain folks, there's no way this is going to happen to my watch. And they basically caused the market to kind of move into a sustained move to the downside. Okay. Yeah, there's probably some divergence going on at these levels right now. I don't know. I'm not a MACD guy. Okay. But I am seeing maybe that this area could produce maybe some buyers. And maybe with the catalyst, assuming again, maybe with the catalyst of EIA today, this could also offer us maybe a location where we could see price reverse. Okay. So again, 60 is going to be my area of maybe some possible interest. Okay. Because the market has been in some sort of range. All right. So that's kind of, so again, I would say neutral to bearish, with the understanding that I do have a level here at 60 that could offer me maybe a location to potentially participate in an upside move. Okay. Otherwise, I need to locate levels, maybe the edge of initial balance here on London, to offer me a location where price could come up and reverse away from. Okay. That's also a possibility, right? So these are the kind of scenarios that I'm kind of looking at right now in the crude oil, with the understanding that I do have inventories coming in today at 10:30 Eastern. Okay, something to be aware of. Okay, all right. So we were up at 11. Now we're down to 7. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and before we move on to the equity markets, we're going to go ahead and just follow Michael's lead here and encourage people to hit the likes, hit the subscribes, leave a note or two on the portal. Okay, we're back to 10. Okay, they came back. They heard me speak. I'm going to encourage you guys to hit the like buttons, hit the subscribe buttons, hit the notification bell. Do any sort of activity that would indicate to others that this analysis that I'm doing on a daily basis is indeed supporting your understanding of the markets and your ability to navigate the markets. Okay, simple as that. All right, that's really the only technically the only tax that I'm asking you to provide here. Okay. Yeah, maybe stand on one leg, do the happy dance, whatever it takes, right? We need to get these likes up, and we need to get maybe a little bit more activity on the portal to kind of really kind of encourage me to continue to do this analysis for you. Okay, I'd like to invest more in the portal, but I do need some participation and some participation from the participants, and not to discount the people that have supported me up till now. I'm very thankful of those folks up to date. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and move on to the NASDAQ. Okay. Enough of my self promotion here. We'll move on to the daily, and daily. During the overnight, I think there was a fair amount of certainly a fair amount of selling that we had yesterday, right? So going to remove some of my drawings here. Okay, fair amount of selling, and we got to an area, right? We got to an area where we would expect to see some buyers, right? This area that was once support resistance has now become supportive, right? This area here around I don't know 25,350, right? Price has come down, and we are actually seeing a little bit of reaction away from this area, right? Which stands to reason, right? That we would, right? Again, what was resistance becomes support, all right? But cannot deny that maybe we are starting to see maybe a little bit of change in character in this market, okay? Cannot deny that, right? If I try to draw my channel here, right? Okay, we did take a peek. We did take a peek below, okay, the market. Now, will it stay below this channel that I've drawn here? Right? I'm trying to capture as many of these candles as I can, right? On the lower end, right? Are we going to maintain this level? Do I incorporate this little last candle here down below? If so, then maybe in the next day we get maybe another bar that indicates that there's more upside possibilities. Okay. Right now we've kind of taken a peek below and found some buyers. Taking a look at the 4-hour chart. Looking at the 4-hour chart, you can see again, we're creating a little bit of a fence line here, right? A little bit of a fence line. So we'll go ahead and hide this. A little bit of a fence line up around this 25,400 level. We're developing a 4-hour bullish candle, okay, to indicate that maybe that we are in the midst of maybe a possible reversal in price. Okay, right? We don't create a fence line here of defense here without maybe extending this a bit. Okay, so we'll have to see. Right now, we are still technically in some bearish structure. Price is below our 9 EMA. It's something that I look at, right? But I cannot deny that we are seeing a little bit of a bullish engulfing pattern, and that maybe we are in for maybe a little bit of a repair day today. Maybe we come in and kind of fill in the volume here a little bit. Okay, this area right here has a little bit a lesser volume than up on the highs. So would not surprise me if we came up and just kind of hovered around and ranged around this area here. Okay, let's take a look at the 30-minute chart. Looking at the 30-minute chart. Okay, let's open this up here. You can see here that price has managed to get above our 9 EMA, and it's kind of maybe flirting with the idea of maybe potentially closing back inside that bullish channel that I drew earlier, okay, on the daily chart, right? We created a little bit of a demand zone down below, okay? There's a little bit of demand, cannot deny that either, right? Price extended higher, came back to a level, has not been able to make a new low, and now we're above VWAP and the 9 EMA, okay? And with indicating that maybe there's still more upside opportunity in this market. All right, let's take a look now at the initial balance, okay, and see what Asia and London and were able to do with this market. So we'll start off with Asia. Asia was a bit on the neutral side, actually initially bearish. Okay, initially bearish, and then they found some support here at the 100% extension. Guys, I really don't know how and why these levels are causing reversals, but they are. Okay, so again, the 100% extension of the initial balance, the 200% of the extension of the initial balance, these are areas that cause reversals, and they cause reversals a good amount of time. All right, so if we are in trades and we've already gotten to the 100% extension, expecting necessarily for price to extend from 100% is probably not a wise thing without seeing some sort of pullback, right? So again, these are logical levels for price to reverse. All right, so we got a little bit of a failed auction to the downside. We came back inside initial balance of Asia and rotated all the way to the highs. London, Lazy Lion, chilling spots. Exactly, Aslan. These are all logical locations. Logical locations for Lazy Lion to kind of perk up and start to pay attention. All right, so we got a nice, well, not nice. We got a nice, again, another failed auction to the downside, right? We extended to the downside and reversed. Okay, so again, similar to what we saw in the Asia market. So now we are in some sort of bullish structure, and we broke it. We're starting to break some structures to the upside. So what is one to say? One is what to say in this case? Yeah, it got to the 50%, right, and reversed. Okay, so again, what to make of this market? Well, I do see that we are in some sort of bearish structure, right? We are in bearish structure in the lower time frame. Cannot deny that, right? Okay, so what are we to make of this? Well, until we get price to close below the 90 MA at least, right? We have to kind of go with what the market is telling us, and it seems like it wants to head higher. Okay, where would a logical place, if I'm really insistent that this market has only one direction but down? Well, I have this 25,700 level above me. That is a logical Lazy Lion level, and just so happens to be what? It happens to be the 200% extension of this initial balance range. Some confluence there at 25,700. The more we can get confluence around some of these things, the greater the level, the importance that level has. Okay, so again, 25,700. It will be a logical level for me to look for maybe a reversal in price in this market. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the ES markets here, and see what we can gather. All right, we'll remove some of our drawings. We'll look at the daily. Okay, so again, similar to what we just saw in the Nasdaq. Okay, similar to what we just saw in the Nasdaq, we had a series of candles that would indicate that maybe we are about to fail, right? We got a nice little rejection set of higher highs and higher lows. And then where do we get to? We get to the bottom end of this channel, just like we did on the NASDAQ. And right now we're developing somewhat of a reversal candle against an area, right, that we would normally expect something along these lines. 6,800. 6,800 is that level that we would expect. Now, price did breach, right? It did get into that level, right? It did get into that level, but the train stopped and said, I'm not taking any more passengers to the downside. And they kind of begun to step into this market, potentially looking to head higher. I say potentially, okay? We do have a fair, I mean, this is a pretty daunting bearish candle, no wicks, right? So again, this 69.85 level is going to be an area that I'm going to be particularly watching, because if it can't get above that, then maybe it offers maybe an opportunity midway, halfway up this candle, right? And for a continuation move to the downside, okay? So that's kind of what I'm seeing here on the daily, right? So this is kind of my current forecast, okay, on the daily chart, okay? We'll have to see, all right? Let's take a look at the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart, again, similar fence line that we created. Again, if you didn't tell me that this was ES, I would tell you this looks like NAS. Okay, same exact series of candles. full body candles in both directions. No wicks on either end, but we are attempting to see if we can get the market higher and maybe fill in some of the gap that was left as part of the selling that happened yesterday and in the overnight. Okay. Moving down to the 30-minute chart. Okay. 30-minute chart. We'll take a look here. Again, we see that we already have this London. It looks like London. Looks like we are attempting to extend the London session higher. Okay. You can see that price is already above the initial balance range to the upside. Similar kind of move, right? We extended lower, trapped a bunch of hopeful sellers. And what did they do with the market? They reversed it right back up against them, right? That's what markets do, right? They're contrarian. When we think it should move in one direction, they do the opposite on us. Okay. Let's take a look at the Asia market. All right. Asia, I suspect was neutral. Yeah, it was. Again, another failed auction down to the 100% extension. We got a failed auction that closed the initial balance range. These things play out. These reversals happen at these levels. So again, right now, guys, I mean, I really, as much as I'd like to say that we should be looking for a bearish trade, can't really support that, right? I mean, we are coming into a congestion area here around 6,800. We are above 6,800 at the moment. I'm gonna actually switch this over to London because that showed me a better view of what's going on, right? So again, we see that price is above our initial balance range. And as long as price remains above our initial balance range, I have to think that maybe the market will head higher. Okay. If it can't hold above the initial balance range, then I have, kind of VWAP down below here. If I am bullish, okay, VWAP would be one of the logical locations. Actually, the first one would be 9 EMA. The second one would be the VWAP. And there's probably something somewhere in between that I can draw with a retracement tool that would offer me maybe a third level. Okay. All right, let's take a look here at the Dow. I'm kind of moving briskly here today, guys, because I do have some weather going on today that maybe could cause me to have a little bit of an outage. So I just want to make sure I get through this review with you guys so that you have that. Okay. All right. So looking at the Dow, similar story, right? We're reversing off of a known level, right? Of prior resistance. Okay, right around this, I don't know, 47,000, I don't know, 160, 175. Again, somewhere in that range. Okay, price has come down to that level, and so far it's kind of begun to find some buyers. Found some buyers here, found some buyers here. The question is, does it have enough buyers, okay, to drive price back through this bearish channel that's in? Okay, because right now we're inside some sort of bearish structure. Okay, moving into the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart, again, even bigger fence line. Okay, what does this look like? A fence line. Is there a good amount of indecision going on in the Dow right now? Right? Is this something that I can actually trade, guys? How many of you love trading these kind of markets? How many love trading? Oh, the moment I think it's going to go long, it goes down. The moment I think it's going to go down, it goes up. This is not a market I want to be a part of. Okay. Yeah, this is Yuck City. Okay. Yuck City for sure. All right. Let's go ahead and move on to the 30-minute chart here, guys. So let's continue looking at some more yuck. Okay. A lot of overlapping candles here. We have, I don't know, I'm trying to see how I can make sense of this. Want to draw a little bit of a consolidation pattern here, right? We have a consolidating triangle. Don't know which direction is going to go, but we are consolidating here. We are consolidating for some sort of big move. Is that move going to be higher, or is that move going to be lower? That I don't know. What I do know is that it's going to be of pretty good magnitude, right? Top to bottom, magnitude wise, we can look for something that could go as lower or could go back up to the highs. Okay. Didn't take any trade. Saw EMA, VWAP, crisscrossing those candles. Yes. No need to take trades in areas where there's no conviction, right? Participants are really not all that interested in taking that market in any sort of direction. All right, let's open up fixed range volume profile. I suspect, I don't know for certain, we'll confirm this. I suspect we are in some sort of range, okay, in this market. A little bit of indecision going on in the Dow. So let's take a look. Sure enough, right smack in the middle of value. What are we to do here? Absolutely nothing. Okay, this is not a market that we don't want to be a part of this market. Okay, as far as I'm concerned, right? Unless we can break value above or break value below, unless I'm focusing on the edges of this of this value range and going to reverse the top or reverse the bottom, that's pretty much it. Okay. Now, if we start to break the initial balance range to the upside, or we start to break above the value area that was established, then that's telling me that there are market participants that are willing to take this market higher. Right now, we're inside value. Nothing for me to do. Okay. Let's take a look at initial balance. I'm afraid I'm just going to be kind of a broken record here, guys. But my initial balance range is probably going to tell me the same kind of story. Again, similar to what we saw in the ES and the NAS, we got an extension to the downside, reversal back up to the initial balance high of Asia. And then the same is also true, looks like, in the London. Okay. London, I think we got, a little extension to the downside. And now we're in the midst of maybe a rotation back to the highs here, up as high as 47,320. Okay. We're starting to maybe be given some signs here, maybe that they want to take this market higher. I don't know, right? I know what I did need to see. I need to see a candle close, a retest of that same triangle pattern, and some momentum to supporting this move, right? Right now, I don't know about you guys, I'm not all that impressed with the momentum that we're getting. Okay. All right. Let's make one final pass. Maybe we'll take a peek here at the silver market, but I think the silver market has also been a bit on the range as well. But let's see here. Okay, so again, we are let's open up the regular range here now that we are let's see. Let's open up the regular initial balance range. Here we are. Okay, so there we are, establishing the range. Okay, now if we do manage to close above, I mean, like I said, we do have a upside target of 4,000 in this market. Okay, if we do manage to get above, let's say close above, say 39.90, I would say that there's an opportunity for us to maybe revisit 4,000 before we see any sort of reversal in price. That's certainly a possibility. That's certainly, I would say, in the cards today in the gold. Okay. Crude oil, with crude oil inventories taking place here, again, continues to show us signs of bearish kind of price action. I would say that 60 is an important level in the crude oil. Okay. That would offer us maybe a potential reversal in price, the 60 level. And NASDAQ, again, we're kind of thinking a bit more of a repair bullish day, I guess. Maybe fill in, maybe kind of range around some of these levels, maybe fill out this level here on the right. We have identified some levels above that could be resistant to price, 25,700. We do see that we are getting of late some bullish structure in an otherwise larger bearish structure. Okay. So either we wait for levels that we want to maybe look for, maybe continuation moves to the downside, or we'd maybe take some scalp opportunities to the upside. Okay, that's kind of how I feel right now, because I feel like I'm in some sort of bearish structure. So if the higher time frame is telling me bearish, I'd like to think more bearish on the equity markets, and the same is true for the ES. Okay, same is true for the ES. And then the Dow, I would say, is probably a little bit more range bound. Okay. Although showing some signs that maybe it wants to head higher. Okay. We are beginning to show signs that it wants to maybe potentially break out of this consolidation pattern. Okay. I'm going to draw a little horizontal line here, kind of resistance line that I've drawn here for myself to see where it needs to get above. It needs to get above 47,300. in order for me to really embrace the longs here. Okay. Well, with the time remaining, we'll take a quick look here at the silver. I know Michael is interested in understanding what silver is all doing. Again, silver has been in some nasty range. Again, you can see that maybe even in a larger head and shoulder pattern here, right? So I'm gonna actually move this up here. Seems like a head. Over here is the right shoulder, and over here seems to be the left shoulder. Okay, so I don't know. Is this a reversal pattern of some sort? Okay, are we looking to potentially head lower? If so, then the magnitude of this move looks to be of this variety, right? If I take the high down to the neck, then I'm looking from the neck down, move all the way down to the 41 range. Okay, so I don't know if that's necessarily going to take place, but I can't deny the fact that this is some sort of head and shoulder pattern here. Okay, looking at the 30-minute, we're going to jump to the 30-minute here, guys. Again, we are developing a initial balance range that right now looks favorable to the upside. I'm kind of looking here to the left-hand side, maybe open up my ADR here and see if there's anything above me that could cause price to stall. And we are there. So we are at an ADR high. Okay. So the question now becomes, are we going to continue to have momentum? And I haven't been good in trusting these momentous moves. Okay. Against these ADRs. So I'm gonna respect my ADR, okay, and say that maybe we are going to stay in some sort of range, and maybe this 47,925 level could cause price to maybe reverse away from. Okay, I've been the ADR level has offered me some levels in the past that has caused market to reverse. And we're at that level now with the ADR. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can actually darken this up here a little bit. So you can see this a little bit clearer. Okay, if that's not obvious to you that we're inside the ADR zone, I don't know what to tell you. So these areas offer us reversal in price. I've ignored them in the past to my detriment. Okay, I did that. I did the same thing in gold, only to find myself in the wrong side of a trade. So I'm going to sit on my hands and kind of let it play out. And maybe it offers me an opportunity, maybe to the downside, maybe back to the VWAP or something along those lines. But I need some more evidence of that to take place. Okay. All right, guys. So before you exit the building, okay, we have a little bit of a delta. I would say a participant delta going on. Okay. So I have the likes and the participants in the room. I have a delta, and I'd like to get back to I guess VWAP for the likes. Okay, so I'd encourage you guys. If you do find what I'm sharing with you beneficial, I would encourage you guys to hit the like buttons. I'm not asking for a whole lot here, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, make a comment or two on how this analysis is supporting your review of the markets. Okay, and with that, with about 10 minutes to spare, I think I am going to close this session like we close most sessions. Okay, and that is to trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. Okay, guys? Yeah, make it a green day, everyone. Again, not too late to hit the likes. Okay, I got another straggler who came in. Don't be afraid to hit the likes. The recording will be available up on the portal. Leave me a comment or two. Let everyone know how this analysis is supporting your trading. Allow me to continue to invest in myself to continue to expand the portal, guys. I need your support, and thank you to those who continue to support me. Okay, all right. I think with that, guys, I will get off my soapbox and leave you to your continued analysis of the markets. And we'll be back at this tomorrow morning. Have an excellent trading day, and we'll talk again soon. You're welcome. You're welcome, Aslan. You're welcome, Ali.